The boy looked at her impatiently. You're right, I'm sorry. Robin focused her attention back to her palms. What next? Your hands act as the anchor for your senses, the boy explained. Close your eyes and imagine an anchor dropping down into the earth. In her mind's eye, Robin saw a large ship anchor dropping from the bottom of the gravestone. Its chain rattled as it fell, displacing the dirt that grew wetter as it descended. Once it hit the bottom, 20 feet from the surface, Robin nodded. Now, mentally check in each link in the anchor chain, the boy told her. About 6 feet down or so, there should be a body. In this case, there should be more than one body. Robin checked each link in the chain. What happens when I find the bodies? The one that has been identified by the gravestone will be closest to the chain. She saw the furthest body and flinched. What am I supposed to do if it's really far out? Go get it. The body? Yes. But won't I don't know, float away or something? The space around the chain was home to an inky blackness. Robin didn't particularly relish the idea of jumping into it, even if it was in her mind. Float away, the boy laughed. You've been watching too many supernatural comedies. There are supernatural comedies? The boy let out a rude noise. Try every one of those jokes they call movies? Robin suppressed a groan. She had obviously hit a nerve. Have you got the body yet? I'm a tad reluctant to launch myself into near darkness. Oh, just do it! Robin hesitated for another moment before she complied. She couldn't help it. Half the time, it was just a way to survive. The other half, she felt like she was going down the rabbit hole. The darkness closed in around her as she aimed for the body. She righted herself when she got within arm's distance of the body. The face of a young boy greeted her. He wore the clothes of one of the local gangs. Gray shirt, baggy blue jeans, and black skater shoes that were slightly too big. All right, I found him. Now what? Robin retrieved the tablet from under her arm. Hold the tablet's camera up to the body's face, the boy instructed. Robin did, and the tablet scanned the kid's features. Whatever facial recognition software the tablet had ran the face through, mugshots from police records as far as many towns over. Patrick Gregor. Robin read when the name flashed over the picture. All right, get to the chain and make your way back up. The boy's voice had an urgency that wasn't there a moment ago. The information will go to the bosses. Your job here is done. Back in front of the grave, Robin looked at the boy. You never told me your name. It's better that you don't. His ears pricked, head swiveling to look toward the temples of the other side of the dead city. You should take your break now. But I've only done one identi— Just go! The boy took off for the other side of the city without another word. Robin stood in front of the grave a moment longer, looking after him. Turning, she made her way out of the cemetery. The street outside was littered with the debris of forgotten telescopes and televisions, while the sky was full of clouds made up of the smoke accumulation from years of pollution. Paper bills and amendments and reports made up a path leading to the town's oldest building, the planetarium. The giant telescope that once stood proudly at the center of the room lay on its side. A growing amount of dust had settled over it. As she stepped closer, Robin could just make out a few stanzas of a poem scratched into the base of the telescope. The previous stanzas had been scraped over or spray painted into an illegible stain. In the dim light of the planetarium, she had to squint in order to read the cramped handwriting that was only made worse by the fact that it was carved into metal. Senators the size of Jovian planets don't have to worry about what's written on paper bills and amendments and reports. Their resources can't be reached far enough that the science is inadequate. Look at the child now, sinking into the ground, heavy with weight of so much metal and gear, its skin a collage of backfired ash and debris from rocket ships and bombs, throat-coated inside and out with gasoline and dust. Unable to scream, but her words won't matter. No one listens to Mother Earth anymore. Robin rubbed the bridge of her nose when she finally looked away from the poem. Looking around the base of the telescope, her ears picked up on the notes in a bridge coming from a doorway that was half obscured by large broken portions of the ceiling. She checked behind her, straining her eyes to see the keeper boy amid the gloom. When he did not appear, she turned back to the door and began walking toward it. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Robin jumped, turning around to see the keeper boy standing in the doorway of the planetarium. She had sworn he hadn't been there a moment ago, and the music wasn't so loud as to obscure any approaching footsteps. Further proof of what had happened to her. "Lucky for me, you aren't." Robin turned back to the music. "My name's Kevin," the boy said. "Excuse me?" Robin stopped just short of the large beam that lay diagonally across the doorway. "My name is Kevin." Kevin sighed. "Earlier you asked me my name. There it is." "You're just trying to get me away from the music." "Is that what you hear?" Kevin cocked his head to the side. "Yes. Don't you hear it?" Kevin shook his head. "I used to hear things behind that door, but I've been a keeper too long." Robin looked between him and the door. It was so close, she could have reached out to touch the decaying wood. But Kevin intrigued her more than the music. "What do you mean?" she asked. "I'll tell you on the way back." Kevin motioned for her to go first out of the planetarium. Robin stepped past him and onto the crumbling sidewalk. She stared out at the bleak scene that had been her town. Buildings stood abandoned and boarded up. Light posts and mailboxes had been upturned, their contents and components spilling out onto the street. Posters mixed with metal appliances and other debris on any surface that would hold them. The rise of the technological age had made everyone feel invincible. No one had thought to monitor the uses of the technology. It had been the last thing a lot of people had ever done. Like some, she had died because of that love of technology. How exactly, she would never be sure. But standing next to Kevin, looking out at the mess that the technology had reduced her town to, Robin felt a wave of sadness sweep over her. Did anyone survive? Her voice was a little more than a whisper. If anyone did, they left soon after this started to happen. Kevin didn't need to gesture at the town for Robin to understand what he meant. He started walking back toward the dead city, guiding Robin gently by the elbow. She didn't want to look at what her town had been reduced to. She could still remember waking up on her last day, brushing her teeth, drinking a cup of coffee, going to the post office. She even remembered her dog watching her leave the house with